You're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network.
We still have to open and close the show, Alan.
Well, sure, but, you know, it's just us, I guess. Welcome to Was It Chance, the podcast about bracing opportunity and changing the risk of your creative life.
Pathetic.
Huh?
You sound so pathetic. Do it again.
Welcome to Was It Chance, the podcast about taking opportunity and... Oh, I can't remember it now that I'm doing my voice.
I like that one. Do it again.
Welcome to Was It Chance, the podcast about taking intentional risk and embracing your creative opportunity. I'm
wasn't
Heather.
right either,
No,
but
that wasn't
that's
right
okay.
either. I'm Heather Vickery.
Do I sound like that?
Yeah, totally. Do I sound like that?
Shut up. Hey, y'all. Our guest today is us, so we have decided to be silly.
Our guest today is us. Welcome, us. Hi, how are we? We're good.
It makes me kind of, when I said that, it made me kind of want to channel an episode, not from this past year, but from the previous year, where we had Lulu and Allison on, and they were like, we love it in here. This couch is so cozy, like a little virtual podcast land.
Well, now we're kind of on video, so we can't fake it.
We can, though. People could close their eyes and envision, can't they?
I don't know. Can people
We are
close their
kind of on
eyes? That's a
video.
thing I don't know about a lot of people. I guess they could.
I mean, they can close. One can assume they can.
I
close
wanna
their eyes.
close
What kind
my
of-
eyes.
That would suck as a disability. I mean, all disabilities would suck, but not being able to literally close your eyes.
What was I watching the other day where, it was a new Netflix show, The 8 Show. It's a Korean show that they translated into English. And I binged it. It was great. Where they were trying to sleep deprive people and would hold their eyes open.
Yeah,
and,
that will fuck you up.
No, no.
I don't
Horrible.
want that. No thanks. No.
I want to close my eyes on 2024.
Holy shit. I posted a TikTok the other day that said, do you remember back in 2020 when we all thought, well, at least it won't be ever worse than this? And then we had 2024.
See, I can't tell if it's because we're actually like going downhill as a global society,
Yes.
or if I'm just getting older, and that just comes with getting older. You
It
realize?
doesn't come with getting older.
No,
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What do you realize?
no. I'm just do I realize? Am I realizing that getting older sucks?
No, I don't think so. At least I can't tell you what your experience is. I guess you could be realizing whatever you want. That's not the case for me. I turned 50 this month.
Happy 50 to you.
And you didn't even know it. That's fine. It's okay.
I did. I
think
sent you a
missed
happy birthday.
Yeah, like a week later.
Listen, you didn't send
I
me a
think
happy
I missed
birthday on my
yours,
birthday
too.
either.
I know. I missed yours too. I was like, I guess it's even. We might need to put this shit in our calendar, Alan. At this point, we should know each other's birthdays. No, I feel, well, the world is on fire. The country's
How about yours? That's the way I
fucked.
like it, and I never get bored.
All of these things are happening, but I feel like the best version of me ever. Other
Do
than,
you?
my knees creak and my hips are a little sore and I have a frozen shoulder on the left side, that kind of shit. But as far as just sort of my consciousness, my conscious awareness, my knowledge and patience and flexibility, I don't know. I feel more awake than ever.
I feel more awake too, and that's the problem. Because ignorance is bliss.
Yes, but is it? So I just listened to. I'm trying to get him on the show. If anybody knows John Green, and I was born and raised in Indianapolis, so I know people there. If you like run into John Green at the fucking grocery store, we want to have him on this show. I just finished listening to the Anthropocene Reviewed, which I was thinking you need to listen to the audiobook. Do you know what the Anthropocene is?
No, tell me.
It's basically reflections on human impact on Earth and things, how things change because of human involvement. It's his reflection on it. And I guess if I'm going to tie this back into the end of year episode of Was It Chance, I think that's what I really love about our show.
You're like reflecting and growing and learning from failure. I think, 2024 has been a year of a lot of fail fast, fail early, fail fast for me, which is always like, I want to fail early and learn from it.
Until you do.
Until I do. And then I'm like, oh, God, I need like a win. I need a big win one of these days just to offset some of these fail early, fail fasts.
Yeah. I get that. Also, our show is about so much more than how to fail gracefully. It's about being gutsy and living your life and being present in this moment and taking advantage of opportunities. And you do that really well. So you might just be in a down slump right now, my friend, and giving yourself a hard time, because I see you as such an incredible forward thinker, creative. Yeah, sometimes life knocks us down.
I appreciate it. Thank you. You too. I like to see everything you've been doing, and you keep going, you keep pushing, and you keep trying all this new stuff that I didn't even think of. I think it's incredible.
I appreciate that. Sometimes I tell myself, stop trying new things, Heather. Just keep focusing on the things that you've already built. You don't need new things. I keep my brain.
Well, it's because you're a man gen. Drink.
Things. I'm not a man gen. I'm a projector.
That is every time. We need to make a man jam drinking game for Was a Chance.
Although you were right, you've listened well enough to know that trying new things and walking away from them is a very man gen thing. For me, I think it comes from my open head center. But no, it's all the difference is it's all the same stuff. I'm just packaging it differently to figure out what's going to land. Because I do feel like this year I have been calling out into the void and nobody is listening. I'm like the tree. I'm the tree that gets felled in the forest. And if a tree falls and no one's there to hear it, does it really make a sound? That's how I feel right now.
That's the world of podcasting. And that's the world of social media and the internet and everything. Everyone has a voice at the same volume now, so no one can be heard.
I think that's true.
So how do you stand out? Let's figure it out. That's 2025 for you.
Right? That is what I'm trying to figure out. But I do think just need to double down on what built that is really fucking great and find new ways to get it out there. I don't need to reinvent this. The work is good.
Samesies, actually. Now that you phrased it that way, like I have good product. We have good product.
Yes.
Everything out there is great. Just, how do you get it out? How do you continue to grow as a person without burning out to have the resources before you have the resources?
Well, that's an existential question, which I sort of have an answer for.
Lay it on me.
I mean, y'all did not know what you were getting yourself into.
No, I didn't know we'd talk about this. I thought we were talking about our guests and shit.
We are going to talk about our guests. The answer is that, and we talked about this a little, again, year before last with Sammy Moog. The answer is that if we want that to exist in the future, we need to channel that energy now. That in this timeline, in this moment that you're in, behave and think as if those resources already exist. And I'll give you a really interesting example, and I'll have to be sure to share this episode. I have another friend. We've had so many guests on the show that I've met through
Friend
threads.
with a TH.
Friend, THRIEND. She is another coach. She's a fellow projector. And she commented on something earlier today and said, I can't believe how many of you are working right up until this holiday. You should take a whole month off, which is such a projector mentality. And I was like, I look forward to being able to do that. But, it's hard up in these streets. You got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
And she said, Heather, as a projector, you have to lead with that, which of course I know. I know this knowledge. She said, I decided this year that was what I would do. And I behaved as if that is what I would do. And I built as if that is what I would do. And that is what I have done. And that's the energy.
Is it a problem that I just enjoy working until 11:59 p.m. Christmas Eve?
It is not a problem because you're a generator. And when a generator is doing something that's a hell yes, you don't get tired. Whereas a projector, we have to rest before we're successful. Like, that's important. When you're a manifester, it's a work to rest cycle. A generator and a manifesting generator, you guys don't get tired unless you're doing things that are no's, unless you're saying yes.
Oh, dude. I mean, you just summed up my entire life. And that's it. That's it. I'm done. I'm out. Mic drop. This episode's over.
And if anybody listening wants to have a custom human design reading, I'm your girl. So, yeah.
You're right. I was temping once, probably in my 20s, starving artist temping, and I got assigned to a job. It was probably going to be. I have the number 3 in my mind for some reason. It was either 3 months or 3 weeks, and I was supposed to go in, and they walked me into this room that was literally wall to wall to wall. Three of the 4 rooms just stacked floor to ceiling with paper files that I had to sort and scan. windowless room.
Ew.
And I left at lunch and didn't come back.
Because that was a fuck no. I knew
that was a hail to the fuck no.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it either.
No, you're right. I've always just been like, I'll find something better. And you are too. I like that. That's why we mesh.
I think it is. I think it is.
Yeah.
We got a good thing going.
Yeah.
We have had a really cool year. Talking about being now who you hope to be in the future, I got gutsy on our behalf and really put out a lot of asks to authors.
And they came through.
They did.
They came through. I was so impressed.
And I was like this, like a giggling. Hopefully I kept my shit together, but I was freaking out before every single one of them. And now I'm convinced they're all my BFFs.
They're your friends.
They're my real friends. Some of them I didn't meet on Threads. But like I'm thinking one of our earlier episodes from the entire year was Vanessa Kelly.
Yeah.
And we were drawn to interviewing. I first reached out to Vanessa because I love her art in red, white, and royal blue. And with a bunch of other authors that I follow, she was telling us about her own book. It's coming out. She's sending me an ARC. You guys stay tuned because I cannot
Advanced
wait.
Reader Copy. ARC.
An advanced reader copy.
That's what I learned in 2024.
That is what that means. Yes. Yep. Yeah. So I'm super excited for her. That episode was one of my favorites of the whole year, and it was early. It was like our second episode of the whole year.
Yeah, episode 58. I'm looking back at our release list here. Yeah, we started with Steve Cam on January 10th.
You two were two peas in a pod. That was a funny episode.
Yeah. Well, anybody that's like all up in the dad jokes, yeah. That's my jam. That's my language. What does that mean? Like love language, when your love language is dad jokes. What is that called?
I don't know, but there's something in there about self-deprecation and needing to distract and like, look at this mess over here so you're not noticing me.
That's fair. I've said that before. That came up recently too. Make fun of yourself before someone else can, and then it's all fine. Anyway, one of the interviews that impressed me the most was Laura Love Harding, and her story, her book, the challenges, like everything that she's just done to turn everything around and literally manifest and create that destiny that she wants to be part of. Talking about, projecting and putting it out there and then making it happen. That is 100% everything she did.
Yeah. And her book, her memoir, which is The Many Lives of Mama Love, I follow, Book Talk and Instagram, Bookstagram, whatever, all that shit. Her memoir comes up probably weekly. And I'm like, oh, hey, did you know we had her on the show? It changed me on a subatomic level listening to her story. And then when we had her on the show, God, what a gift she is. Like, she was like, okay, well, now let's write this whole story about Alan with the aunt. It was really cool.
I agree. She was very, very cool. I mean, just being completely addicted to opioids, going to jail, losing her family, coming out, turning it all around. And then she's a successful, businesswoman that just kicks ass in the book world and everywhere. It's amazing.
Big time. You know what I learned from her is that all famous people have a ghostwriter that writes for them. Like it's the celebrity's story, but they never are the ones that write it. And so now I find myself really looking like, who actually wrote this book? I'm looking in the acknowledgments. I'm like,
A friend of mine, I'm not going to give anything away that I'll be identifying. Yeah, a friend of mine spent months writing a book for somebody else, and she gets acknowledged in the book, but still not credited as an author.
No, and it's interesting. Some of those folks do, and some of them don't. So one of the people, let's see, I'm going to have to actually look at it because I listened to it. One of the authors that Laura Love Harding directly is Anthony Ray Hinton. In his book, The Sun Does Shine, How I Found Life and Freedom. He was in prison for, I want to say 30 years. Is that right? I think that's close to it, for a crime he did not commit, a murder he did not commit. Mm-hmm. But she gets book cover credit for her support in writing this. But I just think that's up to the author.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so much that we've had such a variety of guests too. I mean, the creativity is not locked into Broadway, which is my thing, authors, which is your thing. You know, like even James Ginn. Remember James?
Yes.
Just making new strides in how he approaches photographing people's authentic selves. Do you still follow James and see his pictures? They're beautiful. These pictures that are coming out are amazing.
Well, and his experience, I think, is so much. It's not just about the pictures he's producing. It's about the experience of being photographed and how that changes a person. Yeah. I still want us to go in and do a shoot with him because we've been talking about this for 3 years. We need professionals. Yeah, and it'd be really fun to have James.
Yeah, no, I just watching him work was amazing because I dabbled in headshot photography. I did some, and I've done some of that stuff in the past, and of course had my photograph taken so many times. And just the way that he works with the subjects to take away all the pretense and all the what you think you need to look like and just be who you are. Like getting to that is so hard to do because everybody's walking through life with a mask on. Everybody is trying, I think, for the most part, to project what they think others want to see, whether consciously or not. And then, especially in photographs, and then especially for people who are having their photograph taken because they want to get a job in the entertainment world or the acting world, it's just layer upon layer of pretense and mask and pretense and mask. And he just is like, bloop, let's just wipe that away and start fresh. And here's what we can do. And he comes out with some of the greatest stuff. I love it.
Yeah, it's so cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Anushka Lucas took me to task? I loved that conversation. She really had me, I was rethinking and reframing and reinventing how I think about the things that I think about as far as privilege goes. And all of that. I love that though in a person because I do a lot of this work and I consider myself fairly, well versed in it, and it just reminds me that I can always learn more and I can always grow more and to stay open-minded. And
when you're interviewing people, when you're talking to people, and you can tell that they're trying to politely call you out on something or politely correct you in the moment, which they should be doing. Do you acknowledge that and give them the window to continue with that?
Yeah, I hope that I always do. I want to.
Yeah.
It's hard though, right? Because and we know my relationship with being embarrassed. It's embarrassing, or you feel like you've somehow fucked up. But that's the message: is that learning new things, being open to learning new things, and approaching life differently means that there's nothing to be embarrassed of with that. It means that you're actually here, you're present, and you're not stuck in your ways, and you can actually grow.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to give people that window because I want them to be comfortable taking me to town. Because I think if I acknowledge it without getting defensive, they go, oh, okay, let me educate you. And then we can actually have a conversation. Because this happened to me the other day. I was literally talking with someone who is a Broadway person who's a mixed race a woman, cis woman. And I said something about being a person of color in the show she's in, and she goes, "Well, actually, I don't consider myself a person of color." And she started to go this route, and I was like, "I think I just got called out. Can you please keep calling me out? Let's let's keep going because I want to know. I want to know what I don't know."
Well, and can I teach you something cool? You're gonna like it.
Yeah.
That's actually what we call calling in. And not calling out. Calling in is, come on in here and let me talk to you about this because you're open and you're willing to learn. Calling out puts people on the defense. Calling in educates people.
Oh, learn something new every day. All right, well, I'll take that away. 2024, the year of being called in. There we go.
I appreciate, though, when people are willing to do it. We had a situation at my birthday. I can't believe I'm telling this story. But it was great because I think it shows a lot of growth. We were sitting at the table waiting for them to bring the cake, and some folks were on their phones. And by folks, I mean the children. And my stepdad, who is 80, something in him snapped, and he came over and started yelling, "Everybody's so rude. Get off your goddamn phones, blah, 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 blah." And my 15-year-old, she was like, "I don't know who you think you are, but I know what I'm doing. And I'm not missing anything. And I know when it's time to put away my goddamn phone." Okay, so you and I are of a generation where, like, I would not have said those things to my grandparents, but I wasn't a matter. She was like, you called me out in front of everybody for nothing. I wasn't doing anything wrong. Well, he went in the corner and pouted. And I went over there and he said, I'm the only person in this room who loves you. I was like, okay, well, that's probably not true. And he's like, but I was upset on your behalf. And I said, but I wasn't upset. You know, being upset on somebody's behalf, if they don't need you to be, that doesn't solve any problems. And I said, I really love this about my kid, that she will push back. And he apologized and he told her that why he was like, I snap a little bit and I'm from a different generation, but you were right and I'm sorry. And all of this leads to like, oh, this group of kids, this generation, they're actually changing things because we didn't say anything, you and I.
Yeah, right.
And so then the older generation didn't know that it was a problem. They couldn't learn. But because, well, she did call him out. That wasn't called in. But because she called him out and he was willing to be called in,
that says a lot.
Changed.
That says a lot for being 80.
Yeah.
That says a lot about him. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him, good for her. And I told her how proud I was of her. I said, I don't know if it's just that as a generation, you guys have this figured out, or if maybe my generation has just done a little better. And I needed this parenting win. She said, Mama, I think it's just you.
Oh.
You have always told us that we have a voice that matters and that we should stand up for ourselves and advocate for ourselves. You've always told us that, and we believe you.
Oh, my older one just turned 10, and to think of him like being that self-aware in 5 years breaks my little heart.
I hope he is. Yeah, none of my other kids, all my kids are brilliant, but Tessa is the kind of the deep thinker, and she shares. And I don't know, I needed the win. I started to cry, as I might be doing right now. Anyway, so that's the gift, right? And again, to tie it back into this show, like this awareness of our choices and our journeys and our opportunities, and the shiny building is
it's the time of the afternoon right now where the new building across the street is blinding me with reflection. I need to put up blinds in this window here in my studio for the first time in 8 years.
So yeah, I mean, okay, I lost my shit over Allison Cochran, having Allison on the show.
Oh, yes, you did.
I really did. And she's just like, just a person, just an average woman. She was pregnant at the time. Now she has a gorgeous son. Mm-hmm. But I love her stories, and I love her book, and that felt really good. It was fun.
Yeah. No, it's fun too. And Isaac Mizrahi, you kind of fangirled a little bit about over Isaac too.
It was just cool. Like, it was just really cool. We got a lot of people
darling.
Were like, you had Isaac on your show. I know. Darling. Darling.
I love Isaac.
Darling, everything in my life I've ever done is a failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
My
everything
life
is because I failed. Fell into everything by accident. I need some of those accidents.
We've had just the authors just blow me away. I loved our most listened to episode of the year. Well, the one that turned out to be the most listened to episode of the year was a little shocking, and it came from the previous year, which was Aussie Wind, which I guess, you guys should go back and listen to the interview we did with Aussie, which was amazing, all about magic. But beyond that one, it was Matthew Hubbard. So brand new, first-time author, The Last Boyfriend's Rules for Revenge. He's now got another book coming out. I'm hoping to get my hands on an ARC, and a third one coming out. And like living his best fucking life. Like he said 2 years ago, I never could have imagined this would be my life. And here we are.
Yeah. All it takes is it takes something to hit, something to catch, keep going. And then all of a sudden, there you are. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just looking at our list. Yeah. Lily Thomas. Let's see. That was episode 74. We re-released her because she was going into a new show on Broadway. And then again, or I think it was just announced that she was in Gypsy.
Yes, yep.
With Audra McDonald. And then that actually just opened the other night as we're recording this. And so I was looking at her pictures. No, I don't see it till January. But it opened to rave reviews.
Of course.
And everything. I mean, Lily is amazing. Like Lily and Dickie Payne. I mean, then also like Janusz from Crime Scene Kitchen. He's just a happy guy.
He's such a happy guy. Well, yeah, I first met him on TV. I first saw him on TV on the Great British Baking Show. And it was so fun. He said they still have their text chain. They're still chatting with each other on text.
Sorry, I need a sun visor.
You're such a big voice with the sun. No, but I was looking at clips of the interview we did with Lindsay Rush. That was a favorite. But I was watching clips on TikTok of us from that, and the sun was streaming in on me the way the sun is streaming in on you right now, and it wasn't my best look. But that episode was fucking hilarious. I needed that laugh more than I realized I needed that.
Yeah. Lindsay's like, I think we're kindred spirits. That's for sure.
The butt cracks of light.
her dad joke, poetry headlines, poetry titles. Like, yes. I still tell people you need to cross the street with the confidence of a white man jaywalking.
You do, because it was one of my favorite pieces from her book, A Bit Much. She cracked me up when we were sharing a lot of the clips from her episode. One of them is, I find that the dumber you are, the more people like you. Yeah. And she responded, she's like, thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
I saw that comment and I was like, yes, it's true.
It was so funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We had a couple of coaches that have written books, folks that are doing NLP work, neuro work like me. Laura Laros. Do you remember her? She was great. And Katie Horwich wants you to want yourself. I'm here for that. Oh, my kids were excited about Andy.
Oh, Andy Mientus?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. The Flash. Yeah, I see Andy's husband all over the place in the Broadway world, and Andy too. They're here doing their thing.
Speaking of husbands,
the Broadway husbands,
yeah,
they're blowing up still.
I know.
I'm so impressed with, like, I don't know. I just don't think the way they do it. I was going to say I'm so impressed with the way that they're doing their TikToks, and they're like, all right, let's take out the trash. And set it to Fosse. I'm like, I don't even think about that. My brain does not work like that. And they
everywhere, the coffee. It's so funny now. Here's what we think we look like ordering a coffee at a coffee shop. Here's what everybody else sees. And I'm like, oh, that one cracked me up, because they had to get the coffee shop involved and the people who are working there involved. And I'm like, oh, that was probably fun to produce. But yeah, they are so inventive and so creative and so funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could keep going on and saying nice things about every single one of these people. Every episode, I'm looking back at this list, and every episode is just like, I remember where, what we talked about and how it made me feel. Like, I have a feeling that comes out of all of these episodes.
Yeah, I do too. I'm wearing my Kind Cotton sweatshirt right now, thinking about Caitlin and her story and how important the work they're doing, kindness.
Caitlin Johnstone, episode 76.
Yeah. And I do have to give massive props to, even though I have loved every single one of these episodes and I've had a blast, the one that I am re-listening to repeatedly is our last episode we just released, which is with Rowan Jete Knox. In a world where it feels like we're spiraling backwards faster than we can blink our eye. What Rowan is doing with trans awareness and all of his work and just his story, I don't know. It's really powerful.
Yeah, Rowan, everything he is doing. Yeah, again, one of my favorite feelings I've had after speaking with him and coming out of this episode and just learning that, like, you can go through everything that he went through and still, I mean, it's a choice and it's hard, but you can still use it to your advantage and have a positive outlook to use it for your creative success. And he's done this. He's exemplified everything. It's great.
Yes. I have to laugh. So we released Rowan's episode right when Rowan went on holiday break, hiatus. So he's not heard it. He's not seen any of the promo about it. I was like, okay, well, we'll just promote our stuff, and then in the new year, we'll promote his episode again, because y'all are going to want to listen to. I mean, it's so good, and his books, which he wrote under his previous name, they're just so good. But I love, you know what you just said that I love so, the feeling that's attached with having had these conversations. It's my hope that people listen to our show and they have that feeling, but boy, are we lucky to be in the room where it happens.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, you're right. And it's a form of therapy. It's a form of empathy. You can't imagine empathy.
No.
And that's something that I've always loved, and I realized years ago about theater, especially musical theater. It's when you're watching a story, you're watching tragedy, you're watching things happen in this makeshift world that probably and hopefully will never happen to you in your real world, that you get the opportunity to put yourself in the shoes of others, or to imagine and actually practice empathy for other people that are not like you, that are different from you, that want to think differently. And you can understand someone a little bit more, or even get, zoom out a little bit. Why did the writer write that? Why did the actor make that choice? Why, you can get really granular or macro or micro with all of this stuff. And, same thing with books. I think, just the creativity, diving into why people are creative.
It reminds me of the refrigerator exercise. I loved that. Like, reading characters, like what would be in this character's fridge right now, and what does that tell you about who they are? Oh,
yeah. Oh, Nikki, that was so great. And wait, how did you describe it? You described it in a way that didn't actually say anything about what was in your fridge.
Well, she did. I mean, I was like, we've got a whole bunch of dog food in there because we pre-cut it, and I was all very practical, and so were you. And then Nikki said, so when I look in that fridge, I see somebody who really cares about their pets and who is willing to put effort in early to take care of them, and to, has good intention on eating well, but those salads expire because sometimes you pick the cookie, like that kind of thing. I'm like, oh my God. I don't mean to go. Yeah, I loved that exercise. And as somebody who's playing around with writing a novel, I'm definitely creating a fridge for everybody.
That is great. You should write yourself a little sticky note on your mirror or something that's like, what's in your fridge today? I have a sticky note because I obsess over details, like sometimes small details, right? And so I gave myself a little note on my monitor right here that I look at every time I sit down, and it says, don't forget to care less, because I need to be okay with things rolling off my back. I want to have it's my little affirmation every time I sit down. And it doesn't mean don't care about things.
Of course.
But yeah, maybe, give yourself a little note in the morning. It says, what's in your fridge today?
Yeah. No, I like it. And I like that don't forget to care less, because it just means try quicker, right? Don't let the caring get in the way of the trying.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I love that we do this.
Me too.
I love it. It's always my favorite. It's the highlight of my week when we get to spend time together and with these really cool people. And I cannot wait to see who we have on the show in 2025.
Right. Got some good guests in our minds, in the pipeworks. In the pipe,
in the
down
queue?
the pipe, in the queue, in the queue line, in the line queue. Coming up. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah, it's going to be a great year.
You've been listening to Was It Chance, the podcast. No.
You've been listening to Was It Chance?
Oh, goodness.
Well, Alan, if people want to connect with us, or if they have a guest recommendation or whatever, how can they do that?
They can reach out to us. We're an open book. No pun intended. Well, I don't know if that's punny.
We're an open podcast.
We're on
it's not punny.
Instagram and Threads at Was It Chance. We are Was It Chance Podcast at gmail.com. There's even a little website where you can find us, wasitchance.com.
And TikTok. Was It Chance Pod?
Oh, yeah, the TikToks and the YouTubies.
We have 22 followers.
Still?
Which makes me sad.
We are growing one a month.
So, hey, you all go follow us on TikTok. Make me feel better. Although our views are good. People are watching the clips.
I don't get all that. You can view things. You don't follow stuff. Whatever. That's all. That's a young person's game. Get off my lawn.
I love TikTok, but not as much as I love you. So thanks for being you, Alan.
Thanks for being you, Heather. I love you too. This is great.
It is so good. All right, folks, you've been listening to Was It Chance? The podcast about taking intentional risk for creative success, or that might not be exactly what it is, but that's what I write when I type about it. So I don't have my script in front of me. Thank you for having us with you all year long. Can't wait to do it again next year. I'm Heather Vickery.
And I'm Alan Seals. Happy 2025. Happy New Year. Be safe. Be sane. Be a manifesting generator or a projector. Whatever you are. Find out. Contact Heather.
What is that? What is that? What kind
I don't
of
know.
clip is that?
I'm just trying to have like a nice, quote, mic drop kind of like end to this episode, and I just ran it into the ground. Have a happy and safe New Year's. Stay open-minded. Let people call you in, folks. Don't let them call you out. Or if they do call you out, let them call you back in.
Yeah, be open-minded.
Be an open mind.
This show's all about opening your mind, looking for creative paths, looking for ways to show up, and do the damn thing.
Do
Take care,
the
y'all.
thing.
Bye.
Bye-bye.